The title of this podcast here: Wizards of the Coast faces backlash with over 10,000 complaints recorded.
Yeah, Wizards of the Coast is always fucking shit up. So, well, I mean, is it Wizards of the Coast? Not really. It's Hasbro.
Yeah,
Hasbro
it's
is Wizards of the
Hasbro.
Coast. So, because Wizards of the Coast, if it was just the way they were, it would be it'd be like smooth sailing, right?
Yeah.
But they're owned by Hasbro. Hasbro's like, we want profits, so they're trying to profitize everything.
Yeah, so they're planning to impose a 25% royalty on third-party sales.
So the whole thing with this is like back in the days of D&D, you had Dungeons & Dragons, Advanced Dungeons & Dragons, and then the 3rd edition came out, D&D 3rd edition. And they had a thing called the Open Gaming License, where you could make your own supplements for D&D, where you used the D&D rules, but you couldn't publish a copy of the rules, basically. So you couldn't like put the stats for a fighter in your book, but you could like make things like additional magic items using the rules of D&D as they're set out in the Open Gaming License. But if Wizards liked what you did, they could republish it as a generic sort of thing, basically.
Yeah.
And I think that's how it worked back in the day. And it worked out really well for D&D. D&D was huge back in the 3 and 3.5 days because there's so many companies came up and they started doing their own D&D supplements.
And I think Pathfinder is one of those?
Well, Pathfinder came out of that, basically. Pathfinder came out because when 4.0 D&D was coming out, they were like, no, we're getting rid of the Open Gaming License. We're not going to have it for 4.0. D&D is its own thing. So Pathfinder was like, well, we're going to spin off of 3.0 and make Pathfinder based off of the Open Gaming License. So that's where Pathfinder came from. And then when 5.0 came out, they were like, oh, we kind of fucked it up. No one was making 4.0 stuff, which hurts their bottom line.
Yeah. Because
the more stuff that's made that is compatible with D&D, you have to buy the Dungeon Master Guide and the Player's Handbook to play it. So with 5.0, they went back on it, Open Gaming License. Everybody was happy. You can make stuff for 5.0. I always I'm like old school D&D guy. So when I hear stuff about like 5.0 and it's like, oh yeah, you can be like half dragon in it and stuff like that, and all these weird race classes and stuff. I'm just like, that's not really D&D to me. But they would have all this stuff, whatever. So then they're trying to do another D&D version, like 6.0. And they want to go back on their Open Gaming License. They want to revoke it, and they want to have it so if you make anything for D&D, technically Wizards of the Coast basically owns it. They can republish it without giving you any money. And you have to pay to make stuff for D&D and stuff like that. Like Pathfinder and stuff, they don't have to pay like a licensing fee. Yeah. Really. So there was a drafted version of the new gaming license that came out, like was leaked basically, and everyone lost their mind because it's so terrible for creators.
Yeah.
And people were canceling their. So apparently, I've never looked into it. D&D Beyond is like the tabletop version, electric for you to play D&D, where you can like subscribe to have the books and shit, but you can also like buy. It's almost sounds like a game where you'll buy like a class so you can play it and stuff like that.
That's weird.
And people were canceling their D&D Beyond subscriptions, and they had so many cancellations that Hasbro was like, holy fuck, we screwed it up here. So they released a statement saying like, because so many people are complaining like, oh, we're not doing that. You know, we heard you guys, we're going back on it. We're going to do it the way it was before. And we're not changing this because you complain so much. You guys think you won, but we won too. It's like a win-win for everybody. And people are kind of like, what the fuck is going on with these D&D guys? It's been a whole like fucked up thing. So like, because of this, the Paizo publishing company, the guys that do Pathfinder, they're like, oh, we're going to make our own Open Gaming License like role-playing system to take over for this. And then there's another company that said they're going to do one. Like all these companies that were doing 5.0 stuff, they're like, we're, done with D&D now. We're going to do our own thing, which hurts the bottom line for D&D.
Yeah.
They've lost a lot of goodwill here.
So it looks like with the subscriptions to D&D Beyond,
Yeah.
you have to buy all the books digitally.
Yeah.
And you can only use the books that you have purchased if you're on a basic plan. If you're on a master plan, then you can share any books that you've purchased with other people.
Yeah. Anyways, I guess it makes it easier for, like, I guess bonuses adding up and stuff. You don't have to manually do it. But, like, that sounded demented to me when I heard it. I was like, I would never do that. I would never buy a D&D book digitally to use it in their thing. Like, you can only use it in D&D Beyond? Like, no, I don't think so.
That seems, I mean, people subscribe for a lot of things now.
I guess
so
I'm a boomer. I don't know.
If I was deep into the D&D and I wanted to do it, sure, I'd do it.
But what happens when 6.0 comes out and they're like, oh, we're not doing 5.0 anymore? That's old news. That's old hat.
I mean, you buy your new book just like you would
but
if
like,
you were wanting to play 6.0.
Yeah, but none of the old books work with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's games as a service now. It's
fuck that, dude. Like, if it came time for me to play D&D, like if I was going to be like, I'm going to run a campaign or whatever, I'm not buying any new fucking books. I got 3.0, I got Pathfinder, I got 3.5. I don't need any more fucking books.
Yeah, but that's if you're going to play it the old school way.
Yeah, but what's the new school way? How is it different? You roll a dice?
It's all online.
No, but if I'm playing in person.
Oh, yeah, if you're playing in person, there's no new school way. It's always the old school way.
So, like, what am I
But if you want to play the new 6.0 system, you got to upgrade the books.
Yeah, but I don't want to play this. Like, why would I upgrade to 6.0? Like, what's the difference between 3.0 and 6.0?
That's a good question. What is the difference?
The rules are more streamlined. Is it like any other game where it's like the further along you go, it's the dumber it is? Probably. Like, if you look back at like D&D 2nd edition, it's like, what's your THACO? And then they're like 3.0, they're like, get rid of that shit. We don't need any of that THACO shit. And now what is it? You don't roll 1d20 to hit? It's like you flip a coin, 2-sided dice. Yeah.
Think of it. Let's talk about Warhammer 40K or Warhammer in general, like model building.
Okay.
Warhammer. They are constantly updating the rules. They're constantly updating all that kind of stuff. They're bringing in new stuff. But if you want to play in any tournaments.
But aren't they all compatible?
No.
Like, isn't it when they bring in the new army, it just has its own rule book that work with the other ones?
Updating the rule book so that suddenly now your models are illegal and now you have to buy new models.
That's big time bullshit right there. That's
the way they do it.
I guess they're doing it like a collectible card game. But that's I would compare that more to Magic than D&D.
Yeah.
I wouldn't compare that to D&D. That's more like Magic. No, but that's like Magic the Gathering. That's like, oh, the new set came out. Your set is no good anymore. You need new set.
Yeah, that's true.
Warhammer's your new models come out. The old ones are no good. That's more of a D&D or a Magic thing to me than D&D.
Yeah.
But like,
I mean, no one is forcing you to play 6 Ed, but if you want to play online, then perhaps you have to use 6 Ed. With their D&D Beyond system anyway.
That's some bullshit. Yeah. Anyways, so the main problem was, they want to change the open gaming license so Hasbro can make more money off of the other people making stuff.
Yeah, I mean it's just like you playing. I guess it doesn't work with Destiny because you can still play Destiny 1, but if you want to play the new stuff, you have to play Destiny 2.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, what could you even compare it to? Really?
I don't. Yeah, it's a good question.
Like. I mean, I guess there's nothing to compare it to, really.
No, if they shut the Destiny 1 servers down immediately following Destiny 2's release, then you could compare it to that, but they don't.
I mean, even then, like, it's
forcing you to buy new stuff.
But that's like every year they do that with Madden. Like, that's just the way it is. But
you could still play the old Madden.
I mean, offline, but you can't do it.
Oh, yeah, you can't do it online. Oh,
but, like, couldn't you play Destiny 1 offline? I mean, I don't know.
You could still play Destiny 1 online.
Yeah, I know, but like,
no, Destiny 1 you had to play online all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, but that'd be just like, I don't know, there's like, we're not doing this MMO anymore. Sorry, it's shut down. Whatever.
Yeah.
It's more like, I don't know, Roblox maybe. But even like Roblox, they give you the tools to make a game and they take a cut.
Yeah.
But I guess it's more like
a deep cut.
It's more like Wizards of the Coast made an open gaming license that wasn't good for them. Like, if they could go back in time, there would never be an open gaming license.
Yeah.
The first open gaming license would have been like, oh, you want to make a book for us? You pay us 25. You want to use our rules? 25% fee.
Yeah.
But they didn't do that because they had to grow the hobby. Yeah. Now the hobby's so big, they think like, well, we need to get a piece of that pie. So, because that's the other thing too, is like, I haven't bought a D&D book since 3.5 or Pathfinder
Yeah.
or whatever. But everything I read online is people say that the stuff from Wizard of the Coast, D&D, like lore books and all that shit, they're basically the worst ones out of anything made for the open gaming license, where like all the other third-party ones are way better. So, yeah. Anyways, I do sort of miss playing D&D, but stories like this just make me be like, fuck those guys, man. Fuck those guys.
Yeah, there it goes. So, yeah, anything that is currently released under the OGL 1.0 system will remain unaffected. And they want to have greater control over homebrew content.
Yeah, they said the reason why is they don't want like racist stuff using the open gaming license. Like if you made like a friggin' thing to murder minorities or something like that using the open gaming license, they don't want that.
Yeah.
Or like they had like there was a weird open gaming sex one they were making where it was like all about like chances to catch a disease or get a woman pregnant or what happens if a dragon fucks a goat and stuff like that. So they say that's the reason why they want control of it, but nah, that's not.
They just want a 25% cut because there's a lot of content being made out there using their rule systems that they just want to cut. The content creator will still own that content. They just want, they want 25 cents in the dollar.
Yeah. It's very weird. I wouldn't mind like looking at how the rules work in 5.0 just to see like what exactly changed. But I know that they're always talking about like you can be a half dragon and there's like these weird classes and shit. And I'm like, that's just not for me D&D wise.
I mean, I think it's up to the game master whether they want to play with that kind of.
Oh yeah, like
BS.
if I was like running a 5th edition like campaign using the 5th edition rules, none of that shit would be in there. No, I'd be like, no, you can't be a half dragon. Sorry.
Yeah, it doesn't fit the storyline I'm trying to tell here.
I mean, I don't usually play that way when I'm running a thing. It's not like the storyline I'm trying to tell, but it's just like that doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
Like I don't want that. I mean, I guess it is the story I want to tell. I don't want to deal with a half dragon.
Yeah.
Or I don't want to deal with like, I don't know what it would be, like your emo weirdo like character type that you want to do. Like
you want to have a campaign that's balanced, that you're not going to have one overpowered character.
Well, I'm sure the rules are in the 5.0 are not like Palladium rules, Rifts, where it's like, I'm a glitter boy. It's more like, I'm sure the half dragon is even Steven with all the others.
Tempered.
But it's just like, that doesn't fit with my vision of a fantasy world.
Yeah.
So like, there'd be like dwarf, halfling, human, elf, half elf, or even half orc in 3rd edition. I was like, I don't know, but okay. So yeah. Anyways. We'll see how it goes. Anyways.
We will see how it goes. They might just back out right away. Who knows?
This might be the rise of like them not being like all, number one anymore. Like Pathfinder maybe, or whatever they call their thing they're going to make. Maybe the default rule set.
Yeah. Who knows?
Those guys make a bunch of money. They've been doing it for like 20 years now. So obviously they can make it work. So
yep.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see what happens in the future.
Yes.